Welcome to another episode of Inbound Marketing in 5 minutes a day. I'm Cody Swan of Gunner Technology. Today is going to be a really cool 5 minutes, or give or take. Not only am I going to show you some useful information for finding more online resources in which to curate topics and content from, I'm going to show you something that will get you oohs and ahs at a party. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Last time I asked you to write down a list of resources of online information that you, as an expert, seek out for information on your subject. These could be online periodicals, the home cooking network online, whatever it is. Where do you go for information about your subject matter? Today I'm going to show you how to find a little bit more obscure resources to start with. So I continue with our cupcake example. I basically started with two sources of information that we would go to as a expert on cupcakes. One is the Cupcake Bake Shop, which is cupcakeblog.com, and the other one is Cupcakes Take the Cake at cupcakestakethecake.blogspot.com. So these are the two resources that we started with. Hopefully you came up with a lot more, but since we're not really experts on cupcakes here, we sort of had to fudge it, pardon the pun. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to take these two and find a lot more. So the first thing we do is we have this word here. It says related : and then cupcakeblog.com. If you take this to Google and you actually type in, if we go to google.com and we search for this, Google will actually give us a lot of sites that are related to cupcakeblog.com. You see Cupcakes Take the Cake, Cupcake Project, an experimental cupcake blog. These are all things that you should check out. Maybe they're good, maybe they're not. Dive in there and see if any of them are good, and then record the ones that are good and just ignore the ones that are bad. We can do the same thing we did for that with cupcakestakethecake.blogspot.com. Go back up there again, do related, and there we go as well. Now there is another thing you can do. For example, if you don't want something about holiday, for example, you can add the minus sign and say holiday, and actually Google will ignore that. I take that back. That will only work if you type in cupcake and then holiday. It won't work with the related keyword in there. So if you do cupcake minus holiday, it'll find everything on cupcakes that don't mention holiday. That's what the minus sign does. Back to our topic at hand. So now we've seen how to find sites that are that Google thinks is like our two main resources. Now let's go a little bit further. So let's go into blogs. Over here it says everything. Right now we're searching everything. We want to search blogs. So now we're searching just blogs, and you see a lot of duplication. 15 Cupcakes in Lila. There's a lot of duplication on here, but this is another great resource. You can narrow this down, so it searches for stuff that's only been published in the past 10 minutes, past hour, past 24 hours. So if you're looking for a blog that publishes very frequently, you can narrow it down and say, only show me stuff that's appeared in the past month, week, 24 hours, or whatever. So again, go through this. Reject the ones that aren't good. Maybe they're not in your area. Maybe they're too promotional. Reject the ones that aren't good. Record the ones that are good. If we want to get more specific on cupcakes, we can do something called an in-title search. So again, we're staying with blogs, and we're going to search in title : cupcakes. This will only find blogs that have the word cupcakes in the title of the blog. So now we're finding some blogs that are really specifically about cupcakes. If they're in the title of the site, they're really going to be focused on cupcakes. Now we can get even finer grain search by saying in URL cupcakes. So if we do in URL cupcakes, Google will only find sites that have the word cupcakes in the actual URL. So that's even more targeted than just in the title. They actually are in the URL of the site. So those are three general blog searches you can do to find stuff. Now Google will let you do something else to find stuff in groups. So we're going to go back to everything, and we're going to search in subject cupcakes. So now this finds stuff that is on the subject of cupcakes, a lot more broad, and you get things more general and more mainstream, like Martha Stewart, which is okay as well. So maybe these are things that you already knew about because these won't be as obscure, but these are more good resources. Again, you can focus it down by time, hour, 24 hours, 2 days, whatever. Also, the other searches I showed you in URL will also work in the general search when we're searching everything. So you can do that. The reason we started with blogs first is I figured those were a little bit more esoteric, more diamond in the rough type of thing that maybe your prospects haven't seen yet. So you want to give them stuff they haven't seen yet. So you can do that as well. So that should give you a good mix of things to find when you're actually looking for more resources. So again, play around with these searches. Amaze your friends with how much you know about Google. There's a cheat sheet, which I will show you right now, that I use frequently. And it's googleguide.com/advancedoperatorsreference.html. And it's basically a cheat sheet of searches that you can do that narrow down the searches even more so. And this is something that I go back to very often. Okay, so that pretty much does it. Wow your friends, find your resources, make a list of them. Next time when we come back, we're going to actually look at starting to do something with all these resources you've compiled. So make sure, hopefully they're in electronic format because it'll make it a lot easier to transfer them over. Talk to you next time.